Testing, testing. Gotta make sure I'm going where I'm supposed to go. One second, y'all. Gotta check my settings. It always does that. Well, all right. Good evening and welcome, everybody. Welcome to another installment of Insatiable Night. I am your host, Darlene Insatiable, and I'm sitting here with my two best friends. Of course, y'all know Destiny. Of course, y'all know Destiny, who is covering the screen right now. But sitting in with us tonight, we have Johanna, my other best. Johanna, say hello to the folks.
Hi, how are you? How do you tell if someone's online? How do you know if we're being public?
We are because we have a viewer. Hello. Hello, viewer. We can't see who's coming in here.
Hi.
Say good night. Say hello. Say something. Who's up in here? Welcome, welcome. Tonight's discussion is a serious one I've been trying to get to for the last couple of weeks. Tonight, we're talking about abuse and control and what it looks like. So, this season, I've
Mm,
been seeing a lot lately going across my timeline about people who are going through or what they've been through and how it still affects them. So we wanted to address it as women who have all been through and on the other side of it. And we want to help someone. We want to share our experiences. We want to hear your experiences. And if anyone needs any advice or help getting out, we are not experts, but we have been there. So, we definitely want to give our insight and encouragement tonight. So, you guys, welcome. Come on in. Don't be shy. If you don't want to share your experiences, you could share them anonymously. All right, let me make sure. We go, we go. Hmm. All right, well, we must be in there properly because we do have a viewer. Check back on my page. Okay. All right, so I guess I'll begin, right? So first, we're just gonna address the elephant in the room. Y'all seen what has been going on within the past couple of days. The big story on social media platforms is Derek Jackson. Really didn't want to talk about it anymore, but it seems we have to because this is someone that most people admired and followed, myself included. You know, I'm not the guy supported him in a way of money, not monetarily, but watching videos, sharing, liking and loving and agreeing with everything that he's pretty much said. Although I always had that underlying feeling that it was something extra with him, and I'm normally right, and it was, unfortunately. Um, but we have to remember that Derek is a young man, and this is what we all fail to realize. He started speaking on these subjects when he was only 22 years old, and he's just now 30, just now turning 30. So he's still very young in life, and he's doing what young men do. I think the only mistake he may have made was getting married. He should have waited to live his life a little bit more. But hey, that's something he has to deal with. And we are not people who can really judge because we've all made our mistakes. My only issue with him is that when you're selling something like morality, you really have to walk those steps. So that's my only issue. But again, he's young, so we're just gonna pray for them and wish him the best, and hopefully his wife can recover with everything that's going on. You guys want to speak on that before I move on? Either of you?
Destiny, do you have anything?
Darlene, I don't know. Tell the people we're not judging because you know this platform I judge.
You're choppy. You're choppy.
Okay, so okay. So I know you just stated that we don't judge, but I'm a judgy one. I think that even though he's 30 something,
He's just
he's
turning 30.
still okay. His mama didn't teach him not to lie. His mama didn't teach him that when he went to church and made vows in church, those things he needed to uphold. Not only did he marry this woman in front of a whole bunch of people and promised to be his best self, he replicated himself twice with her. So not only is he lying to his wife and the other women that he's sleeping with, the children are going to eventually know their daddy did this. What you gonna tell your children? You 30. There's not gonna be an excuse for him. He is 30. He's not 4. He's not 5. He's not 6. He's 30 years old.
Well,
That's
this is
what I have to
true.
say.
This is true. I don't think this is something that the kids will have to deal with in the future. This too shall pass. Um, and of course, I'm not saying what he did was right. I'm just saying that it's very common, very common. I think we've all have lived that part of life where we've done something that was a little immoral. My only issue with him is that he got married and he is the narcissist that he warns women about. So he's a hypocrite. Those are my issues with him. Johanna, what do you think?
Yeah. I um I I I want to comment on him directly. Sorry. And I also, if it's okay, I want to also comment. You know what? I wanted to comment on what you guys were saying, but I don't because we could all have our different perspectives, and that's fair. My thought about Derek Jackson is that in life happens. And we have to be careful to not discount the all or the total picture because of an issue that he has. You know what I'm saying? So if I come up and say yada 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 up from my current state, it doesn't mean that it took me something to get here. And one thing that Derek said, although I do believe they need to hush and heal, like don't keep talking about it so much. Y'all need to spend some time in your private lives because it's really clear that they still have some things that they have to work through. Just because he is saying today, don't cheat, it doesn't mean that he doesn't know that because of where he was. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So I get to say that, don't boost and sell and boost and steal clothes, not because I never did, but because I understand the repercussions, the downside. I've overcome, I've gotten past those things. So I feel like everyone has a life that they walk out, and I'm not trying to justify what he personally did. I don't know the man, so I try not to speak on things that he's not sitting there talking about me. So I don't know the ins and outs, right? I will say that in totality, in order to get to where you're going, you got to experience some stuff. And sometimes those experiences is how you got to that place. Again, I'm not trying to say that he shouldn't have been more humble. He, in his conversations and talks, he could have given us that Me Too vibe. Like, I know this because I failed at it. I know this because this was my life. Like, the way that it came out was definitely wrong, definitely a lot of pride, all of those things. But the fact that he cheated doesn't make him less of a person in that marriage itself. They got some work to do, but I had posted the other day, marriage can survive infidelity. And I rather come with a truth than um, presenting, you know what I mean? That I know what I'm talking about because I didn't. Sometimes you know what you talk about because you did. But I feel like he's a man that really struggles with pride. Um, I also say, which I know that you guys are going, as far as his wife, that you're gonna really, really jump on me about. Um, I feel like their struggle is actually bigger, and I feel like the amount of scripture she's talking right now, like I feel like she's really still in pain, and that's why I'm like, hush and heal. Stop trying to act like everything is healed because it's not. But he is a public icon and she's definitely not. So my thing for her is to really kind of promote good energy, good vibe, because she's dealing and facing the fact that her husband doesn't really mesh with her. You know what I'm saying? And that's true in relationships too, where your spouse does cheat, whether or not it's because of you, you always feel that it is. And because they're so different, I feel like she needs a lot of support to get through her stuff. Does that make sense? That's how I feel about that
Yes,
couple.
and I'm gonna touch on that, and I'm gonna get to what Tracy's saying. Hey, Tracy. She said, him being 30 is not an issue because he constantly made decisions to do the things that he did, and he's a narcissist and a sociopath. That's an excuse. And a few days before he did the live with his wife, he had sex with his mistress. That's what I'm gonna touch on. And just
Okay. I was not aware of that, but okay.
be be authentic in who you are, and she's very much in pain. So exactly like you were saying, yes, marriages can survive infidelity, but Derek's problem is that he's a narcissist. He likes to control situations. Now we all know he did that live to try to save his bag, but what everybody didn't know is there's other hoes coming out the bag. So
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
a couple more ladies that came forward, and they're like, hey, I was just with him. This third
mm-hmm,
mistress, I was listening to the recording. It
mm-hmm,
was from Tasha K, right? Unwind with Tasha K, and I was listening to it on Tanya TKO's show. This third mistress was going off, like she's about
mm-hmm,
to get him, and it was said that he threatened her. I don't know how true those allegations are, but now he's trying to shut everybody up and put the gag orders in place. So this is not something he did in the
mm-hmm.
past. This is something that he is doing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he's continuously doing it. He's not over whatever he's going through, and I'm sure he does not know this information. He is
Yeah.
a narcissist
I, as a
because
practice for myself to try not, oh, I'm sorry. I was just saying, I, as a practice for myself is I don't get into it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to watch every episode. I'm not going to look at every detail. So my commentary was based solely on the limited information I have, but infidelity in marriage and what I've picked up, just watching it. But you guys probably have way more info than I do on it. So
and
I
it
just
just
want to
keeps
say that.
popping up, popping up, popping up. It's like, damn, how do you ignore it? I think women are stressing this so much
Yeah.
because women have faith in him. They have faith that a black man could be true, a good looking black man could be true. But just another letdown, unfortunately. But I don't think it's because he's a good looking black man. I think it's because he is a narcissist and has this mental defect. You know, his poor wife, um, she's holding on to her faith. But I feel like even in the marriage, he picked someone that he can control. It's clear that she's not as strong as him, personality wise. So he picked somebody that he could control. And you know how narcissists do. They do their dirt, they come back until they see they can't come back no more. You finally had enough, and then they give you that one thing that you want to have a comeback. So listen, the man is clearly point blank and simple, but this leads into the control factor. A lot of people don't realize that control is a form of abuse. You know, some people look at it as, you know, their husbands being the man and taking control in the household, not really thinking like, damn, he's taking control of my life. He's taking control of my self esteem. And that's something that I have personally struggled with too. I didn't know when I was in it. And now that I'm out of it, I'm like, well, damn, how many times did that happen? Um, I have definitely been with a narcissist. Definitely, but one person I know for sure was a narcissist. But I've been in a few controlling relationships. And thankfully, I found my way out. But it's not so easy for everybody because it's easy for people to say, you know, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just leave? It's not always the physical aspect of it. It's the mental aspect. We not only can let someone else, but we can let ourselves, we can put ourselves in this mental prison. And that's something that we need to work on. Let me see, am I missing comments? Wait, Tracy said one mistress had 3 abortions and he has a possible child with another one. But damn, I didn't know that. Destiny, you said that, didn't you?
Yes.
She was, I was like,
Yes.
oh, come on, I didn't hear
I
that,
said it
girl.
because I've been following the blogs. I've been following the bloggers. So I kind of know that, yes,
Yeah.
this is what he's doing.
And that's
But
crazy because I was still trying to have faith in him. You know, I said, well, you know, he wants to be out there doing his dirt, but he wants to have his children with a wholesome Christian woman. And she was like, no, he have kids. I bet you he have kids. So I was wrong about that. No way you try to slice it can you make this man good. I'ma just stop trying.
Yeah,
But
I mean, you can't make his actions good. I'm still not one to throw away a whole person, but he's got some work to do. So,
okay, so
not, and again, I'm just not one to throw away person.
okay, so
like
can I?
said,
So in seeing her and seeing the video that he did with his and being a victim, I was in a marriage that I was abused. I recognize that she is being, regardless of whether or not she wants to admit she's being abused. She's being abused because no woman wants to know that her husband is cheating on her, and no woman in her right mind would come to defend herself, her family, the way she just looking stressed and torn down, things that he was possibly. And it's out there now. People are talking about it. The receipts are coming in. Women are saying that they had abortions there. They had a 10-year affair with him. Like, it's out there. Like, why?
could take that. Which wife? She is clearly being abused by. I'm not saying that she should. Everyone has their times out of relationship, but she needs to know that we're here. Just give just
And that's the thing. She doesn't even realize she's being abused.
it out. She needs to give the sign.
She doesn't even realize she's
I
being
wonder.
abused.
I
Though.
thought about that too. I thought about that too. There's a lot of choppiness. Are we all having some technical difficulty?
So I hear you too choppy. Do y'all hear me choppy?
No.
You're delayed. You're delayed. Like we see your mouth moving before your words come out.
Maybe it's my sound. Let me see. I'm gonna try to put my headphones in.
Now you sound great.
Y'all talk. I'm gonna try to find my headphones. I don't know where they are.
Okay.
Yeah.
But let me know if it's too choppy or if I should start.
It could be. It could be me. Could be my phone. Keep going.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, when both of you were talking, one of the things that I really thought about is that concept of Stockholm syndrome, where the abuser, or I'm sorry, the victim or that abused wife, they talk about it a lot with kidnap victims and stuff. They support their kidnapper and stuff like that. So I feel like that I do believe, however, from the limited, right? But I also know and understand it. It's that I think that she knows she's being abused,
Hey,
but
Toya.
feels that she can deal and handle it. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like she knows that something is wrong. But I also feel that she thinks that through faith, through God, through all of these things, she can get past it, get through it. And I feel like her narrative is trying to say, like, yeah, it's a problem, but God is bigger type of thing. And I just think that takes time to get there. But it's like sometimes when you are in an abusive situation, you rationalize and you accept or you try to like fix this or fix that instead of just simply walking away because you don't really have the ability to walk away. Do you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we do that, right? As
And that's
abuse
the thing.
victims, we justify or we say that, or in a marriage, it's like, if you're in it for better or for worse, is this the worst? So I still got to stay. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes we think and say all of those things as we know that, this is wrong. We just don't necessarily believe or are ready to walk away from it or walk out of it. And that's the abused mentality as well.
And that's where we need, more women to come forward and be honest about their experiences. Because I think we've all known people that have been in long-term relationships,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's marriages or just, common law things, where, they kept holding on for, it's going to get better, it's going to get better, he's going to get better with age. 20 years later, nothing better. You got to leave. Now, you done spent your whole 20 years, half your life, wasted on this narcissist, on this abuser, on this fool. Why? Women need to be more honest about what it is that they've gone through or they're going through. This is the problem. Stop making
Mm-hmm.
everything look normal. Stop acting like, well, not me, couldn't be me, he wouldn't do that to me. If he did it to everybody else, he's going to do it to you. It doesn't matter how pretty you are, how slim you are, how smart you are. They find that opportunity, and they take. And we need to
Yeah,
start
but
sharing
sometimes you
more.
can't get out. Yeah, we have to. We have to make it almost like mainstream and easy to admit because the problem is that it's a very private and dark and lonely spot. You don't want to be there either. So the last thing you want to do is tell someone else you're there. You know what I mean? Like you have to deal with all of those things. It's like You know what I mean? Like I would like to have the conversations about the how, not just that this is what it takes. You know what I'm trying to say?
I get you. I guess I'm just different. Because I'm like, let me tell y'all what's going on. Because I've learned that being quiet is another form of control. All you're doing is supporting your abuser. By you not saying anything, it keeps giving them the power to do what they've been doing. And then when you wait after so many years and, oh, he did this, he did, well, why are you saying something now? That's the first thing everybody's going to say.
Yeah.
So
I
I
think
feel
that
like
you
that
know
should
that
be,
now. I feel like you know that now, but you're now, you know it now, but you're not in a relationship, right? But you also said a little while ago that you have been in relationships that you didn't even realize, you know what I mean, until you did. You know what I'm trying to say? So I feel definitely when you know better, you do better. But we're talking to the person that doesn't quite know
yeah.
better yet. How do they get to the place to know it?
And this
Well,
is how we help them to recognize those things.
Yeah.
We talk about it.
Yeah.
Like we're doing now, we're talking about
Yeah.
it. So Tracy says emotional abuse is the worst kind, absolutely. Toya said she's 28 years in and everything is in peaches and cream, obviously. Tracy says losing yourself for a person that will not change. I will never do that again. I got time to waste. And Tracy also said, so allow your children to see you falling apart to save a marriage. What message does that send to them? Exactly. You know, I
Yeah.
haven't been in these
Yeah.
10, 20-year relationships like y'all have been. I think my longest was 5, and that was about 4.5 years of turmoil. And that's something I learned I will never do again. Now I runs my mouth. And I think that's why I'm a one and done. When I see it coming, the first time you do it to me, you're not gonna have another opportunity because I don't have these years to waste no more, honey. I'm already over 40. Cannot waste my time. And we have to talk about it because yes, our children see these things going on. If they see mom taking it, or even vice versa, dad taking it, the first thing they believe is you have to stick it out, and they're gonna repeat the cycle.
okay, so can I give a story?
Right?
Even though I'm going to give a story.
Go ahead.
Now, story. So in one of my marriages, it was very abusive. My second marriage, to be exact. And I particularly didn't say a lot because in the beginning, I believed that he was sorry. And I was in a marriage where it was something like Derek Jackson. This guy was looked just like that. Darling, you know who I'm talking about. Very muscular,
Good.
hair one hand this big. And because of what we've always heard, I stayed in that marriage. I stayed in that marriage because I wanted my kids to have a father. I stayed in that marriage because I was ashamed. And it took until I got out to realize that I had nothing to be ashamed about. I left that marriage broken. Broken.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't leave the marriage. Sort of the same thing happened with this girl where we were in the marriage and I didn't know where when it started going left for him, but I know when it started going left for me. He cheated with someone he worked with. I was picking these people up from work, picking them up. He had me pick up him and his mistress, and I didn't know that was what was going on. Driving her home to her gate. in the middle of the night, and this is what he was doing. So I'm going to say this. God or religion, or for the people who believe in religion, God is not going to send you a man who is abusive or just doesn't care about the way that you think or feel, or God's not going to send you a person that has to punch you in your face to tell you sorry for your relationship to go right. God's not going to send you someone to break you down in front of your children. These human beings that you're raising that you want to be better than you. God's not going to send you that, honey. And sometimes you have to leave with what you're wearing. And that means you may not be wearing shoes. So,
Been there.
you know, I want all of you women out here to know that if you're in a marriage and you're being abused physically or emotionally, sexually, or in any way that you know this should not happen, whether you're in a marriage or a relationship. It could be you're in a relationship and this man is promising, oh, baby, we gonna get married. We gonna get married. And you know that don't feel right. You are being abused. You're being abused. You are being controlled. Ergo, you're being abused. And you need to
Thank
find
you, Toya.
a way to get out.
Yeah.
You
So
need
I'm gonna follow that up by saying, the bottom line of that is love is not supposed to hurt.
not
Let's
like
be
that.
clear on that. Not like in a good way, right? Not like that. So the thing you said about sometimes you have to leave and you're not wearing shoes. I have had to run out my house with barely any clothes on, with a newborn baby in my hands in the dead of winter. So that's how bad it's gotten. And why? Because I overlooked the little things. You know, um, little things like letting him control conversations with my friends. If he didn't like this friend, oh, you have to get off the phone with her. I'm here now. Little things like, oh, you can't accept that from them because I don't want no outside gifts from my child. Up until the point where I was 6 months pregnant and choked in my sleep because of something I said that he didn't like. I should have left then. But no, believing that I'm not the only one who's gone through these problems. You know, other couples have repaired issues like this. We can do it too. And it only escalated to where I'm running out the house in the dead of winter with my 2-month-old baby in my hand because he's chasing me with a knife and I ain't got no clothes on. Don't let the little things pass. I know people hate when I say one and done, but there's a reason for that because the second one could be your last. It won't be a third. Keep messing with the
Truly,
wrong person.
truly.
Um, I've been lucky though, and I don't think that everyone should do the method that I did because I refused to leave and be scared. That was my thing. I didn't want anybody controlling my mind. So I stayed so I could flip the situation to where I'm gonna say a couple years down the line, I'm now chasing him out the house with a knife. Does that make it better? No. For me, mentally, I was like, yeah, I'm on top now. That is not smart at all. That's all a mind control game. Let me
I want to say this. I know you're going to get to
Hey
your comment.
Renee, hey Renee. So Destiny Renee agrees with you, and Toya says, "How do you know if marriage is for you? Not because your significant other say y'all should be married. This is true.
I want to say this. I,
We got to ask
Um,
the married women,
oh,
the
sorry.
woman who's married, the woman who's been married, not me. Ah,
now, I
still
don't
a
want to
single
talk
chick.
about myself. I don't want to be married again. I just know that. But I want to say this. This same husband that was abusive, physically, mentally abusive, and control. He was everything. Was younger than I was by a couple of years, and this man tried to control my life until 2 years ago. I'm only referencing Darlene because she knows, and this is how he tried to control. I found the courage to leave. I left, moved on. Two relationships later, I have children. This man still finds the time to call AC. I have ACS and the cops showing up to my house every 3 months until 2 years ago. Darlene, am I lying?
Crazy.
Okay, people that abuse you, if you allow it, some people don't know how to stop. So, my advice to anyone that's getting abused is this: plan a way out, even if you're broke. Plan a way out. There are people out here, we will help you. Derek Jackson's wife is clearly, in my opinion, being abused. He had to have been controlling
At
her.
least mentally. At least mentally.
Okay. She sat next to that man, him looking fine, she looking like that, extolling him and say, telling people, yes, we went through. She's still going through. She is still going through. And yes, a lot of you are there, a lot of you are not there yet. But on the first signs of abuse, if he's not getting help or she's not getting help for herself, if you're in a relationship now and somebody's telling you, oh baby, I'm gonna do better, I'm gonna get better, and they're not doing the work to be better, it's not gonna get better. Find a way, plan your exit route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
think that oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, no, I was just addressing Tracy's comment. She said, she's looking homely, meaning Mrs. Jackson. She's looking homely because her mind is stressed out. You already know when we have a bunch of things going through our brain, the first thing that starts lacking is self care. So that's what's going on with her. But go ahead, Johanna.
Yeah. Um, a couple of things. I think that we self-worth, right, and evaluate and do for you. And I feel that one of the common threads in women that are abused by their significant other, they had other patterns of abuse in relationships as well, right? So it was like maybe a messed up childhood relationship, something else was going on, maybe issues with relationships even outside of that guy that you chose. I had to evaluate that for myself, and I realized my son's father, my oldest son, he's 25 today, but his father was abusive. And like you, I knew the side. I knew that was going to turn into that. But I also know that I grew up in a very abusive household, right? And other men in my life, other people in my life had patterns of abuse. So I adapted without realizing the personality that an abuser looks for, right? A narcissist has a target, right? Abusers have a target, right? So I think that one of the things that also helps is to recognize in us what that gap is or that need or why we find ourselves or even continue to find ourselves. Sometimes it's also as simple as but I don't want to be alone. So because we don't want to be by ourselves, right? Or we don't want to raise our children by ourselves, we in essence take other things, right? We deal and accept other things.
You start
So
settling.
yeah, but it's settling, but it's also feeding the need that we have, because we might be settling for XYZ, but we have a man, we have a husband, we have a baby daddy. Even if I gotta drive him to his mistress's house, I know he needs my car. I know he needs me. So it's still satisfying, right? Even though it's toxic and all of those things, it's still filling a void that we have, or it's a familiar place, right? Sometimes we think that's what relationship looks like, or that's what love looks like. Sometimes, unfortunately, especially in our community, and honestly in everyone else's community, I just don't know a whole lot about other communities, right? We think that's what love looks like. We think that's what this is supposed to be, right? And we also don't know. So, one of the things you said earlier is that love doesn't hurt. That's not true at all. I got a baby that I wear around my neck, and I love my son. Love does hurt, but I feel like we have to, and my husband now that you guys saw on the one live, loving him and being in a relationship has absolutely hurt. However, it's not the hurt or the murderous that you're talking about. Sometimes you have to get through a couple of things. So I think that, and I say that to say that sometimes we just don't have that education or that guidance, that mentorship, the out that you guys are talking about. That too is how all of a sudden we wake up one day and realize, what the heck am I just in? And one of the key things that I feel like we have to do is self reflect, right? We have to identify in ourselves instead of saying, I don't want to be married. And I get, you don't have to be married. My other sister, she don't want to be married either. So I'm not trying to make everybody need to be married. I am saying that if your reason for saying that is because of your past situations and stuff you don't want to deal with, then you're not choosing to not be married. You're giving up on what could really be beautiful. Now, the one question that I just want to speak to was the question about how do you know that you want to be married, or what was that question again?
Yeah. So Latoya was asking, how do you know if marriage is for you? Not because your significant other says y'all should be married. How do you know it's for you?
How do you know that marriage is for you? Um, it's you ever feel like you want to have a kid, but you ever feel like you want to have a baby, but then that joker turns 7 and you're like, what the heck? I wanted a baby, but now he's 7, let alone when that joker turns 12, because then he is a different person at that point, right? And then somehow you manage through these teenage years, but you wanted a baby, right? So I feel like to honestly say that is that what your reason is to enter the marriage is not always the same reason to stay in the marriage and to get through what happens at year 5, year 8, year 7, and year 8, right? So I feel like my mentor used to say to me that marriage is the greatest attack on self, right? It's an attack on self, and I see the eyebrows, Darlene. I see you're like, that's why I ain't doing it, but it's a
I
beautiful
never said I
thing.
wouldn't do it. I never said I
Yeah.
wouldn't.
So what Yeah, but this attack on self is like, I don't want to give up myself. I became a better self because there are things in my, just like in a relationship that you have, that I feel like other people are assigned or can help you bring out that you won't necessarily face in yourself. But when you find a person that you love, that you trust, that you honor, and is not out to hurt you but heal you, it brings out a greater self that you can't do necessarily on your own, right? So it is an attack on self, the good parts of you and the bad parts of you. So when do you know that you're ready to get married? I think that there's not one answer. I don't believe that there's a formula, but I believe that you have to be willing, right, to add more and take away more. and you have to be able to really desire, right, a life that you didn't create, right? But it still is that you become one. You become one couple, right? And I'm not trying to get religious, but you still become one. But if you one don't have anything to bring at the table, if you're not bringing anything to the table, if you want, I want a man that has a house, that has a car, that has this, that has that, and you taking the train, then you're looking for that man to do more than you're willing to do for yourself. I'm not saying that you need to be completely whole and fixed and well, because life is going to do that for you, but you have to also be in a position to meet your own standards. Oftentimes, we're not willing to meet our standards. We're using a man to do that. So I believe, how they say marriage is 50-50? It's not. Marriage is 100 and 100. So when you're coming to a table and you look around and you still have a couple of seats, that's when you can say, yep, I can add on to me. But and I will also say it's not complete. I was not all the way put together and ready. And then I said, but I definitely had innate love for myself. I was very solid in myself. And then I knew that I could be added to and also add on. And I will also say that that I married my husband and had to re-evaluate that decision. And both of you, marriage is not one decision, it's a series of decisions because you guys change. So when the changes come, or when the issues come and the stuff come, you have to re-decide. And prayerfully, you'll always decide each other, but it's a continuous choice. You got to choose to love him. He has to choose to love you each time something else or you change. I hope that
Okay.
was a good answer.
Hope that's satisfying, Latoya. Let's get to some comments here. So Tracy says most abusive relationships don't just start out with a black eye. Commonly, they begin just like any other relationships, or may seem too good to be true. Lord knows I know that. But slowly, your partner may begin to subtly blame you for things beyond your control or pick at your faults. This may slowly evolve into full blown verbal or physical abuse. And that is classic right there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So Toya said, what bothered me about the video, going back to Derek Jackson, was she clearly states that she knew of the infidelity, but we are just knowing of what's going on. Sad case of abuse. She thought she knew. She knew probably one piece of it. She didn't know everything. I promise you that. And Tracy said, in my
You still
opinion,
don't-
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
love does not hurt. A person that doesn't know how to love hurts you. So, okay, that's the thing, Johanna. I think when you were saying love hurts, maybe you mean that things beyond your control can hurt you. But love is not, it should not be a malicious intent to hurt. And that's what a
Yeah,
lot of
I don't think that
abusers do.
yeah.
That's
So maybe
malicious.
I'll say it this way. Maybe I'll say it this way. And Tracy, definitely right back in. Um, Love is painful. Um, because I think that we in the English language, we limit, and I think that true love is more than an emotion, right? We have to take it out of that it feels good, it feels right, it feels all of these things. Love is more than an emotion, right? So I accept your thought absolutely. Um, and my current, especially sitting where I'm sitting, knows that um, my greatest love caused me my greatest pain. So I do believe that love is painful and it's still love. You know what I mean? I know the difference between my son's father's abusive ways, right? And I know, but I say that that wasn't love. That wasn't love. You know what I mean? That was a whole bunch of other things, but it wasn't love. right? So the abusiveness that you're talking about and stuff like that, I don't even define that as love. But love, right? Love is a lot of things, and it's painful at times. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was saying about the limited language. I think that, and maybe Toya, that's kind of what you're saying is like that if it's doing these abusive things, that's not love, right? Maybe that's you know what I mean. I could definitely see that. But love in and of itself is definitely way more than the emotional, and it doesn't always feel right. It doesn't. But you have this innate thing inside of you. And that's another thing that I want to say about these signs. Sometimes the sign is in us. Like there's something I remember every relationship. I had that intuition. I had that like gut feeling or that no. It's present. I feel like life, and situation trains us to ignore ourselves, but we knew. And I think that was one of the comments too. But anyway, that was the thing.
Yeah, a little bit. You're right when you say it's always not always, but we have to look within us to see what's inadequate and what attracts these certain type of people. It is something within us
Mm-hmm.
or that has happened to us because I figured it out late in life, but I figured it out. You know, I've always had that desire to nurture and to fix. The same love that I would show my kids, I would want to show my man. And that is the classic kind of honey that draws in those narcissists and those F boys because they're like, oh, she wants somebody to love on. She wants somebody to do for. She wants somebody to fix. It kind of makes you feel like
Mm-hmm.
accomplished. Find you a fixer upper. That was my thing. Um, so I've learned that was my fault. Now I'm like, oh, you ain't got it. I don't know what to tell you, bro. I'm out. Um, Even with
Yeah.
my very last,
Yeah. And I think that's a beautiful thing in you, by the way. I think it's not a fault. I think it's a beautiful thing in you. I think that you had to learn to differentiate, right? You had to learn to pick instead of be picked, right? But I think that character in you to be a nurturer is a beautiful thing. You know what I'm
man, but
saying?
it
Trying to
gets,
say?
yeah, I get it, but now it's like you got to be so careful with it. Like,
Yeah.
okay, so one of my relationships, I got caught up with a narcissist who was just a taker and F boy, didn't have a pot to piss in or window to throw it out of. But when you care about somebody, you're like, well, he just needs a little bit of help. I don't mind doing this. I don't mind doing that. Or, I really like this guy, but I want to go somewhere, but damn, he don't have no clothes. So let me just buy him a nice little something. And them things just build and build. Um, I think that is wrong for us to do because a man does not nest and he does not take. A man builds. So we need to stop taking away from them what they should do.
I
That's
like
something I
that.
had to learn. Um, and so I'm gonna go back to my motivational speakers here because something that Ace Metaphor said that I didn't agree with, and I normally agree with him. So somebody asked him, if you were dealing with an F boy, and you bought him gifts. When it's over, because you found out he was an F boy, is it okay to take the gifts back? And so if Ace surprisingly said, I wouldn't do that. If you give something as a gift, y'all know me. Snatch back queen. If you got it from me in a malicious way, thought you was being slick, you better hope you're not wearing them
Wait, can
clothes
I
when I
tell
set
them a
them on
story?
fire. Tell a story. Go
Can I
ahead.
tell them a story? Wait a
Don't say no
minute.
names,
So
but you can tell the
my best
story.
friend, right? She was messing with listen, I don't even remember all the daggone names to be honest with you, but um she was dating one dude and she knew that it was over. She knew all of these things, but she left a frying pan at his house. And she wait, And she's like, and I'm trying to tell her, like, darling, you just got to let it go. Like, you just got to go. She's like, because I left my frying pan out there. And I'm like, Darlene, I will send you money for a frying pan. Oh, no, it's the principle. I left my frying pan. And she let the relationship go longer, just enough to get back to his house to get the daggone frying pan.
Sure
And it's
did.
like all of this stuff is like, yo, just walk away. She's like, oh no, mentally, I already walked away. But I promise you this, I'm gonna keep taking these calls until I get back over there to get my frying pan. This girl went over there, got the frying pan, and left and never picked up the phone again.
Drove to the next state, paid tolls. They both was like, why don't you just buy a frying pan? No, that's not the point. You and your bitch not gonna be cooking in my good frying pan. I will pick it up and throw it in the garbage, but I'm not leaving it there. It's the principle behind it. That's me. So anybody who
Listen, I
try to tell
know.
y'all, don't feel bad about it. Take it back. They got it maliciously. You take it back. So Toya said, thanks for the information, Johanna. Tracy said, if you can love the wrong person that much, then think about how you can love the right person. Exactly.
Come
Me
on
and
now,
my
Tracy.
frying
Come
pan
on
gonna
now.
sprinkle love on the right person.
Okay.
Oh, hey, Patrice, what's up? I didn't see you
Yeah,
come in. Talk about frying pans.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is that I've been through 2 marriages, and they were kind of similar in certain ways. Like, I am over doing your laundry, sir. I'm over worrying about what you're having for breakfast. I don't care if you're wearing the same shoes. If what you're wearing are 2 different foot from 2 different pairs, go at it. I don't care. I don't want to be responsible for another adult like that. Like, I feel like it's double the work, Stacy. Well, you could be folding 2 t-shirts, but instead you here folding 12. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what okay, so I'm heterosexual, and I like men that really don't talk to me. Because if you have 10 words for me, the relationship is over. You're killing my buzz. Okay? And yes, I am a good cook. And yes, I can be a marvelous person, a marvelous conversationalist. And yes, if I like you enough, we could try it in bed. If I like you enough.
Hold up.
But I just don't want to be responsible for nobody else's dinner. I don't want nobody to roll over. Because, I'm looking forward to when these children leave and say, babe, what we having for breakfast? And that don't mean let's go out. I'm not looking forward to that. I don't want to get up to
Okay.
make another meal for someone else if I don't want to. So
Yeah, and listen, Destiny, the thing is that all of that is great. But if it's coming from a broken place, then your wall is keeping you bound. Like, you can be that way, but only you know why that's there right now, why you feel that way. If you feel that way based on issue, pain, hurt, fear, all of those things, then that boundary that you put in place is keeping you bound. It's keeping the dude out, but it's keeping you bound. But if
okay.
you just feel that you don't want to cook for somebody else because that's where you are in life, that's fine. But you got to check yourself. It's always
Yeah,
about
so
checking yourself as to the why.
exactly. I feel like you shouldn't feel stressed and obligated to do it. When we cook for people, it comes out of a place of love. We cook with love.
I love
So that's what it should be.
I love my first husband so much. Taught me to cook and everything. Loved him. He would say, let's go for a drive, or we would end up in Virginia and go, what the fuck we doing in Virginia? You know what I mean?
Aw.
But even if I had that again, I still don't want nobody rolling over to ask me. I don't know. I'm just.
That's because you done had too many kids, girl. You ain't trying to do nothing for nobody. You get to these parents, you're like, I'm done. So Patrice was answering Latoya's question, right? So she said, to answer Latoya's question, marriage is not for everyone. You have to be willing to fight for love. It's a journey you take together. However, you have to be in it for all the right reasons, because the honeymoon goes away. You have to be willing to ride all the ups and downs together and grow together. It's a it's a bond. It's support
Bond.
equally, and it must have balance. I know I can't see. I'm sorry. And Tracy said, "What it be said to the left. Everything you own in the box to the left. You don't get nothing."
Yeah,
I
I like Patrice. I agree with
yeah,
Patrice. I
so,
like that one.
but
And then
it's been
Toya said, "Is there
not just
a?"
by me that Jared Jackson's from Georgia, right? Specifically Atlanta, that area.
I
And
don't
it's
even
been
know.
there are way too little heterosexual men for the amount of women there. It's also been said and suggested to me, I'm just saying, that if you have a husband, heterosexual men are so limited that if you got a husband, he community property. Now, I know I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm saying that
Somebody
Were
else
you
did
talking
say
about
that.
Georgia specifically? You talking about
Atlanta.
in Georgia? Oh,
They talking
huh?
Atlanta.
about the
No,
ratio.
no, the guy lives in Georgia. Derek
I don't, I
Jackson.
don't, I don't know where he lives, but she's basically talking about the ratio
No, he lives
of.
in Georgia.
I don't know. He's talking about,
Okay,
she's talking about the ratio of straight men to
straight women in
straight
Georgia.
women is so little that it's so much
Mm-hmm.
opportunity for them to cheat. It's almost like they
And
begging, they have to do a
you're a woman.
service.
You live in Georgia now, and you don't know. That's what they saying
So
about her, honey.
Toya is thanking Patrice for her info, and then she said, "What's the time like to get married?" Patrice said, "You can take your time with that decision because if it's a big choice, it's a big choice. Your life changes. However, it could be a good one or bad. Pick the right person or one that you could be willing to grow through it." Okay. Isha said, "Yes, Lord. Atlanta men. Too many gay men here in Georgia." So she's in Georgia. She know. She know what you're talking about. Gotta stay on the East Coast. Anyway, so I also want to say that yeah, y'all know me to the left. Anybody gonna make me feel bad about taking nothing back because if you didn't get it from me maliciously, you can keep it. Like the last person I was with, it didn't work out okay, but whatever I gave him, he got to keep it. Whatever he gave me, I got to keep. Like there was no malicious intent behind it. We just didn't work out because, and as he said, he had issues that he needed to work on. That's fine. That for me, that was a mutual disbursement. That is fine. But if he had tried to get another way, snatch grab. Um, so let's
Yeah,
talk
I
about.
know. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say something that I think is funny about because my husband and I have been together for so many years. It's like um I'll yell at him like, get your shit, you can go. And I said it like one time too many that he picked me up. He's like, at this point, like you mine too. So we going together. Like you know what I mean? Like we both gonna leave and we both gonna stay, but we in this, forever. And um it, it's funny, to me, but it's like you really do get to that place, the goal, right? That arguments an issue doesn't mean end. And I think that that was also a common theme, in what we were talking about as we think about relationships is that um in order to get to forever, you got to get through some of this stuff. Some of this stuff, and I get your mentality on once and done, but I feel it's like more once and done when you see those abusive patterns and those abusive signs. I don't, you
Yeah,
know what I mean? Like it's not just once and
that's
done
what
because
it
then now they
is.
do something, then it's over.
Yeah, that's what
It's
I'm
the
talking
abusive
about.
signs. And that's fair. That's
So
good. Yeah. You
yeah, so
supposed to be like that.
I've
Yeah.
been in too many of those situations. But my last situation wasn't like that at all. No type of abuse. It was just, a little
Hmm.
uncertainty. Um, but why I won't go back to that is because he is unsure. I don't even know. I'm pretty sure he doesn't even know what he feels anymore. They say what they think you want to hear. So it's, I miss you, I love you, can we get back together? But do you mean that? Because one day you miss me and you love me, the next day is, I don't know, I need to take some time myself. Like, you're unsure, dude. I wouldn't go back to that because of the uncertainty, but we cool, we could be friends. Um, oh wait, so Patrice says there is gay men, but there's a lot of family life here also.
Life here also.
Girl, can you see that? People say that, but
But
I
Yeah.
think
was
it's
living
a silly
life.
statement.
Uh,
Hold on, let me get
who?
to
People
them.
say that, but I think it's, yeah.
You can see
People
it.
say that, but I think it's a silly
Yes.
statement. Yeah. People say that, but I think it's a silly statement. You got to
You
know your
gotta know your
partner.
partner.
There
There is
is temptation. Yeah, there's temptation everywhere. It comes to know your
know
partner
your
and choose how
partner and
far
choose.
you allow situation to go. Value yourself in any relationship. I mean, I think what's definitely clear is that we all over 40 and blind as hell.
And I,
Okay. I'm like, what? Ooh. So Aisha says, I'd rather
I
have red
told,
Like,
flags
let me
than to be
find some
blinded.
glasses.
mhm.
Exactly. I see them red flags. I'm like, you
Yes,
know
I like
what?
that.
Sis
I
is
like
out.
that.
Sis is out. I ain't got time for it.
Yep, I like that.
But I also want to get into something that might not be so obvious as abuse too. Um, Talking to women, and I think it's important for women to talk. Some people might say, let me go back. Men like when we are all against each other because it keeps their shit hidden. All right. So some might say, well, why would you talk to your ex's ex? To make things make sense. And you learn a lot. So this is a form of abuse that people might not even really look at. Sexual mental abuse. I don't really know how to label this yet. I'm still thinking of a name for it. But
Hmm.
I don't care if it's in a relationship or even if you're married. If you're doing something in the bedroom to please your partner, that's one thing. But if you feel like you have to do it, even if you don't like it, because if you don't do it, then they gonna stray off to someone else, or then you're gonna get cursed out and that type of abuse. That's abuse. All right. So let's talk about that. Now, there are not too many things that I won't do, but there are things that have made me uncomfortable. Um, I don't even know if I should get into it, but
Get into it, girl. We want to hear.
let's let me get to the comments first. So Aisha said you have to know what you are willing and not willing to take. Absolutely. Renee says, is this going to be the only conversation? Because I would like to join the next one. I had, I too had a Derek Jackson in my life, and Ali, his name was Derek. I told you about the Dereks, okay? All the damn Dereks. But no, this,
There we
we could
go.
talk about this
There
all
you go,
day,
guys.
every day, Renee. So we could do a continuation because I'm never going to finish everything I have to say. Let me tell you. My life alone is like 3 shows. I'm condensing right now, okay? So yeah, we could definitely do a continuation. Tracy says a person who manipulates uses mental distortion and emotional exploitation to influence and control others. Exactly. So here now, there was a situation where I was introduced to try something in the bedroom. That was the first time for me. And it wasn't my thing, but it was his thing.
Wait,
And
you gonna hear what the thing is or what? I got my garlic nuts out of the oven. What thing? Go
all right,
close,
so
girl.
I
We
don't
want to.
think you have to say what the thing is. Yeah. I know, like you want to gossip,
play
but
it dress
I
up,
don't know.
play it dress up. I don't like playing dress up. I don't want to do it. But when the dress up affects you mentally, you know that you are a heterosexual woman and you like to be with a man, but that man likes to play a heterosexual woman in the bedroom. So now you are face to face with a damn woman and you don't like women, but this is what turns him on. And if you don't do it, then he's going to potentially go out there to the next one. This is mental abuse. So now you have to question yourself
Use a hot mess.
because I'm just saying, you want to know. Now you have to question yourself because you don't like what you're looking at, but you like what you're feeling because this is the hardest piece of wood you ever had from this man. Why? Because he is in his happiest place right now. This is a form of abuse because it has you questioning your own damn sexuality. Come on now. These are things that y'all don't want to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it because I'm not going to be a slave to my past abuse.
Story and my garlic nuts. Okay, give me a minute.
Get to my
Yeah.
comments. Care what y'all say. I'm talking about it. So Renee said, and my current man name is your current. Oh, you like the Derricks, don't you, Renee? I can't. I gave up on the Derricks. My baby daddy's a Derrick. I just nope. Patrice said, "Oh Lord, yeah, I don't know. I don't even live in Atlanta. Come on." That's a crazy situation. That's another show. Patrice, don't listen. I told you, my life. I could sit up every day here talking about something. Y'all don't understand.
Yeah,
Y'all
but Darlene, again, like I
don't
think
know.
I think that Darlene, I think you like really damn, that's crazy. I think you like really approached a good subject, right? Because sexual abuse has so many different forms, and sexual abuse is also, you know, a common thing that you don't talk about, right? It's so common, but it's so
Yep.
hidden. And I
And
feel
then it's
that
embarrassing in some
that
situations.
it's embarrassing. And I think by although we don't want to talk about, Marvin, I think that in a way that's what he was trying to say, that because we're the woman, we become so victimized, right? Even in that area, that not only can't we talk about it, but now once again we're trying to please a man that don't even want to be a man because he's trying to look like me. He's wearing my shit. So you know what I'm saying? So I think that that also is part of a real thing, a real issue. And again, with the self-reflecting, one of the key things that you said that was kind of like a trigger was that I want to please him because I don't want him to go with somebody else. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I don't really want to do it, right? But our no is often compromised because our no, even for ourselves, is like a quiet no, because a part of us wants to do whatever they want so they don't leave, they don't whatever. And again,
We
those are
try
the
to be
abuse
the perfect
patterns.
woman. And even with doing
Yeah.
that, they still go out there. Why? Because nothing pleases people like that. When they feel incomplete, there's nothing you can do to
Yeah.
complete them. So now you're
Mm,
abusing
Yeah.
yourself.
So are they exactly, are they the abusive person, or are we still a
They
victim, right?
they
Are we
introduce
still
you. They introduce you to a new way to abuse yourself.
yeah,
These are all forms of
yeah.
abuse and it needs to be recognized. This is why I talk about these things. And
He
You
asked
know, I have.
her, that's what he wanted. And now she's in it. She's thinking, okay, maybe it's a one time thing. You know, most of us will do anything once.
You know,
Or,
no problem.
once a year thing. And now when she thought it was like, maybe
A
an
one-time
occasion,
fun thing, little crazy thing.
everyday
Now it's
thing.
every night, and if you don't do it every night, then it's a problem. This is sexual abuse, and this is something
Mm-hmm.
that somebody else mentioned to me, and I didn't understand what she was saying because she was too embarrassed to talk about it. Now that I went through it, I'm like, what the fuck she was talking about? Why should they just say so? But then again, everybody's not me, and it doesn't come that easy to talk about. Maybe because I'm a jokester. This is real shit. I was messed up for a minute. Like,
Yeah.
dang.
I have a question I would like to ask. I would like to ask the females on this panel, on not only on the panel. I like to ask all you women out here. If you're in a relationship and a man knows that when he drinks, he doesn't have all his faculties about him, and he drinks anyway, and his faculties relieve themselves on your bed, that you have to keep replacing your mattress roughly once every 3 months. Is that abuse?
I don't know what to
I think
call
it's
that.
disgusting. Um,
I
it's
don't know what the hell to
disgusting.
call that. Listen, we don't think about that one. Patrice said, "What about the men that have threesomes? What desires you? See that a lot on things, relationship shows going wrong. What about the people that have threesomes? Listen, is that abuse? I don't think it's
What about,
abuse
hmm,
if you agree to it, if that's what y'all want to do. But if you're doing it only again to please your partner, that's not gonna work because it's something that they feel like they're missing,
I
and
kind
that's
of
not
feel
supposed to be
too,
complete. Okay?
yeah. And I don't know if it's abuse. I think that um, part of me wants to say is that if it's a requirement to love you, then that could be abusive, right? If that's required. Um,
Yeah.
and I
So
think because love is an exchange, and if you guys are not meeting together on that decision, then that's where the problem is.
Patrice said, "Oh wow, he has to get the 6-inch heel to go what? To
Oh
go
my
up his
gosh.
ass since he supposedly likes it more than you do. I wouldn't be surprised because he damn sure wanted me to buy him some heels.
woo,
Too much, too much. No, what was going on there?" So Aisha said, if your husband asks you to have surgery to make your butt bigger to satisfy him, is that some form of abuse? What do y'all
Again,
think?
I feel like there's not, yeah, I feel like there's not one answer to that. I don't feel like
Yeah,
there's one answer, but I think that an abusive man may have requirements of you to change and da, da, da. That's because he's an abusive man. But um it's like I know that it's different, but it's like I prefer men with a beard. Like if my husband goes and they cut his beard down too much, I'm like, babe, like what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? And I know that that's really different, but I feel like I don't know. I happen to think that it's okay to meet our mates' expectations, right? It's okay to um because you want him to continue to look at you and desire you and want you, right? So do I feel like we got to meet all of his fantasies and all of that and we got to be puppets? No, I'm not saying that at all. But um my husband prefers Jordans and sneakers, and I had like just workout shoes before, you know what I'm saying? But now I got more J's than a little bit, and I didn't buy none of them, but that's what he likes. You know what I mean? So I
That's
don't
minor
think
stuff. I
it's
feel like
one answer.
if it is to the point where it bothers you so much and you really, really dislike doing it, it's a problem.
Yep.
So,
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that I really had an issue with instead of a relationship being uncomfortable. And like Renee said, if he's a cheat, he's gonna do it whether you do it or not. And that's the thing. No matter what you do, a cheat is gonna cheat. Period. So don't even make yourself uncomfortable. If you don't want to do something, don't do it. Trust me, it ain't gonna make no difference. So Tracy says sexual and
Yeah,
not
I
sexual abuse
cheated.
is very common in abusive relationships. I think everybody has cheated in some way. Um hey Carmen, welcome in. See you come in. So wait, let me get these comments first. Carmen said hi everyone.
Hi,
And
Carmen.
Carmen
Hey,
said that's
Carmen.
nasty to piss in the bed because you're drunk. Destiny.
Okay.
Is okay.
So now that someone else maybe had the similar experience I had, I want to say this. Now, not every kind of pen is not welcomed. I just found it more offensive when I did not agree to it. Because there was a situation where I didn't mind it.
Well, we just gonna get in it now, ain't we?
I did not mind it
Oh
at all
my gosh.
Okay.
right now.
That sounds like a shower thing to me, not in my damn bed.
No, I didn't say
Crazy.
it then.
Oh, okay.
But the point I'm trying to make is I just found it, I was so offended. I was in an abusive relationship already with you, and now you go out to drink and come back, and I'm woken up in bed because you feel like you're back home swimming in the Caribbean Sea, and then you realize in the middle of your dream, hell,
So
Yeah, that's
Aura, did you
clinical.
call him Aura? Did you call him Aura? Did you call him
girl,
Aura?
what,
Aura
girl,
cheating on you.
Tracy said, "Didn't he marry you? Didn't he marry when your ass wasn't big?
She
Like, I don't
responded
get it."
to Alicia. Remember she was asking the
Okay.
question if her husband wants you to have a bigger ass and so
Okay.
yeah, like he married you as is. He should have married a big ass person, right? Uh,
you married him with
oh.
a 6 inches, and you probably would have settled for 9. But you right there, you right, you still with him. And that's
But
what men understand. That we're in the relationship also, and just like you assess us all the time, we got fat, we got slim, blah blah blah, we don't have time for our nails, blah blah blah. We're assessing you too. Like we possibly remember the person before you who was better than you in some sense. But we're here.
Yeah, I agree with
That
Latoya
you
there.
get, the shorter your stuff get. We ain't judging. We're still here, but you're judging me by some ridiculous uh thing.
I
right.
He
feel
So
like women judge
he just
too, though. Like, I feel like women judge too.
girl,
so
I
Toya said, accept me
judge
as I
everybody else,
am.
judge you. I
Toya
see
said,
you,
accept me as I am,
and I'm judging.
not mold me to what I should look like. Aisha said, but why marry a person that doesn't have the size of butt that he wants? Exactly. Be happy with what you chose. Patrice said, cheaters cheat. Darling, that situation is still too much. Lord have mercy. You don't know what I've been through.
Yeah,
I
so
was
let me
caught
ask
up.
this question then. So you feel that, because I still think that there's a difference. Like, you feel that if you marry a person, right? Or if you're in a relationship and now you're in a relationship all this time, I'm not saying that he should want you to like want you to necessarily have the big butt or you're going to leave, because that's not a good situation. But you guys, like, are you feeling that if he wants changes in you, then he should have just accepted you as you were? Like, why did you want me
Um,
if you want to change? Is that what we're saying?
I don't know what they're saying. I think maybe it's
Hmm.
just the superficialness of it. We're not
Hmm.
talking about changes that's gonna bring value to the relationship. We're talking about a butt.
Yeah.
So that's
I mean,
very
no, but
superficial.
it's absolutely superficial. It is. It's absolutely superficial. I guess I'm trying to just again in marriage in long term, like, why does that have to be a bad thing is my question.
Well, it
Because
depends.
for me, like, yeah.
I'm gonna get into that because I'm about to turn this conversation left. But Carmen says we got some freaks in the house.
Okay, go
Hold
ahead.
on now, because Carmen says a golden shower is fine in the shower. Sometimes. Okay, Miss Carmen.
You know
It's
what I'm talking
supposed
about?
in this house. It's supposed. I never had one
Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm.
though. Not even accidentally. I probably slapped the crap out of somebody, but I've done some things, let me tell you. So Patrice says, Destiny, what did he do when he was sober? What did they say? What did he say about the man?
Okay, so he was an abusive man. Don't you understand what I'm saying? So if I brought this up the next day, oh, you came home drunk, or I don't know if he was necessarily drunk.
He
You
just
came home and I woke up in your pee. It would be an argument that I promise you would lead to an unfair fight, because back in those years, this was about 19 years before, and before that, like, a couple of years before that, or 18 years, yeah, something around that, right? He would lead that argument until it got to a fight, what we women call a fight, which is not a fight. It was like one, like he would turn it into a boxing fight, literally,
Okay.
because he literally was just as muscular as Derek Jackson. He's from a Caribbean island that starts with T, the small one. And he would make believe like this was Tyson and Holy Vander, and I was Holyfield, or Holy whatever. I was the one that lost. Okay? It's like you couldn't
Patrice,
speak to
okay?
his problem.
Patrice, I would play grip ball. So Patrice said I would accidentally drop hot water on him in bed and tell him, oops, I was bringing you tea. I would straight up play grip ball. Hot grits.
But you know what I worried about? I worried about my children. I had children. I was in the middle of a career. I was the one with the bag.
Were they wet in the bed?
No, I was the one with the bag. He was
No,
wetting the
I
bed.
said, were the kids also wet in the bed?
Um,
Because I'm just saying, like, you had a
my,
lot of beds to change
my kid,
if everybody wasn't in your
there
house
was
was
an
wet in the bed.
incident. There was my last incident. Well, I knew I was going to get out, and I was planning an exit strategy, and I planned it really, really well. And I knew I was going to get out, but I guess maybe he could feel something, he couldn't tell what it was. And I came out of the bathroom. And I don't remember the last fight or what was said. I remember getting punched in the face, fell out on the back, fell on my back. I was bleeding out. My kids had to call 911. And I'm going to tell you when I knew not another day with him. So I had to make certain plans and whatnot. When I came around to, and I came back to the house, my kids were peeing the bed. These were kids that never peed the bed.
Mm.
They were peeing the bed. Okay. I had a high school kid. I had kids. I had, 4 kids. And only one of them should have been peeing the bed. She's still a baby. She was 1. And my other 3 children started peeing the bed. And I knew not one more day.
Yeah.
And not one more day. I can't love you. Which I'd stopped loving him a long time ago. But I knew I couldn't love him at all. And I waited until he came home, which I knew he would start something minor. And I gave the kids the clue. The first minor thing he started, I had them call the cops, put him out, which they'd been called to our house before. They have taken this man, hogtied him, and taken him down naked because he wanted to start shit with the cops. One night I called them, and he wanted to start shit with them, and they hogtied him and took him down to police. He was in jail naked.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Well, I'm glad you're not there no more.
abuse comes in many. Not only was he physically abusing me and mentally abusing me, he was having an affair with this woman that I told you. I would pick them up from work and drive them home. So, in just this one relationship, I've never been abused in any other relationship, but it has taught me so many things in life. And I moved on from the relationship. Like, I ended the relationship when my daughter was 1. She is going to be 19 in a few months. And up until 2 years ago, this man was still calling ACS and sending the police to my door, telling them that I'm hurting my children. Now, I had kids after this man. Where our marriage was over that day, that last day when I wouldn't let him back in. Girl, I changed it. I did everything until I moved out. I moved out and left everything in an apartment. I didn't even take clothes for me or my children. Moved into a whole new apartment. We had to sleep on the floor. And I was so broken. I took my children. We didn't have the sheets or curtains. And the wind. I remember all those things. Wind is coming under the door. You and your children just bundled up because you had to go. And you didn't take anything because he was the kind of man that would tell you, oh, this is 50-50. And if he had $1 in something and you took 52 cents worth of it, you would have to hear about it. So he was emotionally abusive, mentally abusive, physically abusive, financially abusive, sexually abusive. Because the things that he wanted me to do, I didn't want to do it. I didn't love him no more. So there's so many things that come along on this abuse train. But my ex had so much of that wrapped up in him. He was the whole package. Okay. Wow. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I'm not saying that every guy is wrong, because I had been in a marriage before him and relationships before him and never had a physical confrontation with a black man. So I'm not saying that all men are like this and all men cheat. That's not what I'm saying at all. You know, I've been in relationships where I left just because I just wasn't feeling the relationship. And he wasn't cheating on me. He was doing what he should have been doing, but I didn't feel 100% of me. But the point that I'm trying to tell you is there's some other people out here that will abuse you in ways that you don't need to be abused. I'm not talking about reasonable things. I'm not talking about going through a little rough patch. I'm taught when women, we know we have intuition. I'm talking about things that you know ain't no other woman out there want to be dealing with. You're right. You're right. And if any of you out here are feeling this, plan your exit. That's all I say on it.
Darlene, we can't hear you. Mm-mm. No, no, no. Is it your headset? No. We don't know what you're saying. Are you say to go through the comments? Okay. Okay. Bye. Good thing we could lip read.
Yep.
So, and right now, everyone, um, she's the only one that could see all of your comments.
Right.
I don't know how to see those, but I will just say that oh wait, here they are. Okay, I can see them. Um Destiny, he was insecure about himself, a broken man. He needed to seek help. That was Patrice. Tracy said, "Thank
Okay.
God you are here. Destiny, you're a survivor." Carmen
Thank you.
said, "Is she charging her phone?" And Renee said, "So true, Destiny. Thanks for sharing." Yeah. And then I see some comments above that. Forgive me, guys. Latoya is thick in all the right places, but a happy BBW. If he wants a Barbie, go to the Playboy Mansion. Amen. Give him the directions. Patrice said, "I would accidentally drop hype." Oh, we read that one. And then Tracy also said, "Because at 75 years old, are you going to go get your breast and butt done? What happened to your golden years? Whose honesty physically taking the change to go under the knife for him to want to see a big old butt?" So those were the comments. Darlene, are you back?
We can't hear you.
No, we can't hear you at all. Yeah. Is your mic on mute at the bottom? Then check your computer audio. Well, we've been on for 2 hours. I'm old. I'm
Yeah.
like, it's time to go to bed.
But one
She left again.
answer, Tracy. Yes, Tracy, I'm a survivor. And yes, thank God I'm here. Really, thank God I'm here. But he tried to convince me. Oh my God, that relationship was so bad. Like it was so many bad things roll up into one, Tracy. This man, did you hear me? Still calls ACS and puts in report. And ACS actually comes knowing that they've been to my house at least twice a year for like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. They still come and want to put me through the foolishness until 2 years.
Hmm.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that, Johanna?
Yes, because I've experienced it, and I know that that doesn't really help in your situation, but abusive men are abusive in any way that they can. I mean, the only way that I was able to get from underneath my kid's father's mental control, because he has 5 sons younger than my son. You know what I'm saying? But I had to like put my husband as interference, because I will say that I don't even know, because he was so abusive and I had a fear of him. Even though I had survived and I walked away, he still had a control over me. Do you know what I mean? So, similar to what you're saying with ACS up to 2 years ago, it's like you're not being abused, but you're still being controlled. You're still being abused because it's that mental abuse. And just like the comments earlier, like that's the worst form. But I remember like that I had to almost get, and then with my son's father, is that not only was he so abusive, but he created an abusive situation between my son and I. So my oldest blamed me for all of the stuff his father didn't do. So he had like resentment and vengeance and all of that against me. And that was still my son's father's abuse, and then translated in my son. My son became abusive in a lot of ways to me. So when you say,
Y'all hear
can
me?
you imagine? I'm like, girl, yes, we can. I'm like, can I imagine? I'm like, me too. Like, I feel like I'm so glad that you spoke and you shared your story, because it when we do this, you don't feel like it's only you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have some more things in common. It's like sucky things in common, but I think the good thing that's in common is that we both made it to the other side. And
Right.
all of us, that's our goal. The goal is to make it to the other side.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say that abuse starts in the little ways. Um, just like how Alicia was saying that, what if your husband wanted you to get a bigger butt? It starts with the little things. Now, this is something that will make me walk away from a relationship. If I find out a man has a type and I'm not it, um, and then once we're together, he starts reminding me that I'm not his type, I'm out. Now, I've had this
Yeah.
debate a
That's
couple of
that's a
times with a
that's a
couple of
flag.
people.
That's a flag.
One person, yes, one person that I was not in a relationship with at all, but he was trying to hit, and then another person who I was in a relationship with, and the one that I was in a relationship with, he promised to God, "No, you're my type. You're my type." But then little things led me to believe otherwise. Like if I spoke in a different language. Okay, I'm playing around, being cute, whatever. Now you want me to speak in another language all the time. Oh, say something sexy in Spanish. Who you talking to? It starts with those little things. I'm out. And let me tell you something. Don't tell me you have a type and then try to get some from me. You will never get it. Red flags. Not doing it. So yeah, we have to look out for these little things. Stop allowing these men to make you feel less than. If I'm not your type, it's cool because everybody has a right to what they like. But don't let somebody get with you and then make you feel like you're not good enough. That's a form of abuse. Just in case y'all were wondering. So let's see. Am I missing any comments?
I read them. I think
Tracy
you have to
said,
read just the last
"Oh,
few.
Destiny, he is a special kind of crazy. He
Um,
should be charged for falsifying
mhm.
cases." Yeah. Oh, that was serious, Tracy. Oh my gosh. It wasn't until she learned how to deal with ACS themselves that all that stopped. But that is
Yes.
crazy. Exactly, Tracy. Know your worth. I say it all the time. Know your worth. Just saying. So listen, I think between us, we've all been through. Needs any get out tactics? You have to inbox me because that is
Definitely.
not something I'm going to say up here. That's something I'm not going to say up here because we can't let them know. We can't let them know our get out plan. But
Right?
I definitely have a few, and I've been in some dangerous situations where I could not have gotten out with my life. So don't think I'm stupid. I know when to turn up and I know when to relax and slide out. Okay?
Yeah, I'm
Y'all
thinking of so
know.
many stories. Yeah, I'm like, oh
Girl.
man,
And I
girl.
can't
I'm
even
glad you laughed.
tell
I want
them
to tell all your
because
shit.
they're still connected. Girl, they still connected. I can't even. It's police cases involved. I don't want no involvement with none of that. Let the past be the past. But if y'all need some get out
Yeah.
quick schemes, I got them. Inbox me.
So I wanted
Whew.
to whoever's on this platform, the international sign, or what they say is the international sign for a woman that needs help. So say you're in public and a woman is talking to you or whatever, and she makes this sign, she needs help. So do whatever you can to help that woman out without blurting out
So,
that you need to help this woman.
okay, so let's say is this,
You
this,
put your
and this.
cover your thumb.
Trying to cover my nail. Okay, so this.
Yes, that's it. That's the
Okay, because I would be like, help a bitch, I need help.
ah!
Okay, so I'm gonna learn this. This
Yes.
means help
Yes. In whatever language. You just need to have a
in every
hand.
language.
Right.
All right. Okay, so we learned something new. Thank you, Destiny. Because all I know is motherfucking help. She crazy.
Mm.
All right,
Latoya said
y'all.
to do it
So
again.
do
And
this thing
Latoya said
again.
to do it again. Hmm.
So it's open hand, thumb down, four fingers covering the thumb.
Right.
Right? 3 steps.
Yes.
So if you see it down low down here, be like,
Yep.
help.
Right. And teach your women these things.
Okay.
Teach your daughters. Teach your nieces. Teach your mom. You never know.
So
And your
is that only for
sons.
domestic violence or could that be in any situation?
That's help when you need help. Because okay, for example, children are taken
Any situation. Any situation.
any situation. That's the way to say my abuser is in the area. Could you please help me? That's a
Okay.
person that needs help and is in the area of where the abuse is happening and can't say, help me. For example, if you're in the store and you bump into a woman and you're like, oh, I'm so sorry, excuse me, and she does this to you, she can't tell you she's being abused. Somebody in the area is probably watching her. She's in there to gather up whatever and she wants out.
All right. Look.
Yes.
This dog done chewed up my damn charger.
Huh?
Dog done chewed up my
Five,
damn
four.
charger.
I'm sorry. Say that again.
The dog chewed up my charger. I need help. Enough of that. I'm about to kill this bitch. She just chewed up my damn charger.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I'm not gonna say this relationship no more. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous.
Mm-mm.
Yes. She chewed my charger. I need help. This is the
Stormy,
international sign for help.
You need to get out.
She don't care. She like me. She be like, help, help, bitch, help. We don't know settle over here.
So, ladies,
All right.
I am definitely
Yes.
well within my 40s and get up rather early for work. So
Yeah.
let's
So we
wrap
all getting
up.
off. We
Thank
all getting
you.
off. It's after 11.
Okay.
I have things to do. We got to get up through the morning. So this is a good conversation, and it's definitely going to be continuing. I want to thank everybody for joining. Thank you for your input. Destiny, thank you for teaching us the international help side. Johanna, thank you for joining us and sharing your experiences. And yeah, so bless y'all all. If y'all need them get out schemes, inbox me. We gonna continue this conversation. I don't know. If not next week, then maybe following week. We'll see how our schedules go. Thank you, Tracy. Tracy said this was a great conversation, and Latoya learned something new. Thank you, ladies. We're gonna get out of here. Good night,
Thank
y'all. Love
you.
y'all. Let us
Okay, bye.
know if you need help. I got your back. We got it. We got it. All right, everybody. Good
Thank
night.
you,
God
ladies. Good
bless.
night. Thank you for having me.
Yes,
Bye.
thanks for joining. All right. Good night, everybody. See y'all later. Go ahead, Toy. Keep practicing. This, and this. Good night.